Hello and welcome on into Same But Different. We're back.
It's been a while.
It has been a little bit of a while, actually.
Yeah.
We're busy boys. We're here. We're back. We missed you. Did you miss us?
They definitely didn't.
I did. You. Anyway, Same But Different is the movie talk show where we watch a movie and then we take the week and then we review it. It's a lot like a movie book club, but it's movies, not books. It's crazy. This week we watched Zach Cregger's new horror movie, Weapons. We were both very excited about this one after the success of Barbarian. One day at 2:17, every kid in a grade 3 classroom walks out of their house and runs off into the night. And the movie is about why? What's up?
Save for one kid. Not every kid.
Every kid but Alex Lilly. Who's Alex Lilly? What did he do?
Oh.
We're probably not going to tell you in this review,
No.
but we are going to tell you what we thought of it. And Derek, why don't you go first?
All right, I will. Zach Cregger is quickly becoming one of my favorite horror directors. Zach Cregger, coming from the Whitest Kids You Know, and if you know, you know, sketch comedy group, crazy.
It's crazy.
Barbarian was a huge success in my eyes. I thought it was so good, and I was very excited to see the sophomore release, Weapons, and I'm also very excited to see what he does with Resident Evil. I really enjoyed this film, to nobody's surprise, really. I don't know. The marketing behind this, the trailers behind it, the fact that it's Zach Cregger coming from Barbarian, A plus B equals amazing. I knew I was at least going to have a decent time with it, and it exceeded my expectations, honestly. There were a few things that were kind of like, weird. You could tell, Zach Cregger said in an interview that like he started writing it not knowing where he was going with it. I love that, and I love people who can do that, but at a certain point you start to see the shortcomings of that sort of way to attack a script. In a movie like a horror movie where it's about certain things, I can't talk about it too much. You can be forgiving, but there are some things where I was like, Starting off with the acting was incredible across the board. Julia Garner, amazing. Josh Brolin, we've come to know, is amazing. Gladys, incredible. Honestly, the person who stole the show for me was Alex.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he was great. I'm not saying interesting because I disagree.
Every time he had, especially in his little chapter, he just was so good. But it was some of the best child acting I've ever seen.
Oh, wow.
And that leads me to my next point, mentioning chapters. The structure of this film was really cool. I thought, when I was first given Justine's point of view, this is Archer's point of view, I thought we were going to go back and be like, okay, we're back on Justine. Oh, we're back on Archer. But no.
Right.
We get five people's point of view, and the way he tells the story is that you go back a little bit, but by the end we're further along. More stuff is revealed through their perspectives, and it's incredible, and it all converges at the end quite nicely. You could just tell watching the film that Zach Cregger was kind of just like saving all the good bits and like really planting the seeds and giving us breadcrumbs and like really excited to give us that punchline, which at the end I'm going to argue it's not a twist. It's not. I would call it a little bit of a reveal. Well, yeah, a punchline, really.
Well, yeah, it's a mystery that gets solved.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing twisty about it.
No,
really.
no. And I think people have become a little jaded when it comes to horror movies, expecting twists. And I don't think you need a twist in order to have a good horror movie. I think you just need to keep the audience at the edge of their seat and then give them the juice at the end. And he gave the juice at the end.
That's disgusting. I don't like this.
He gave the juice.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, it was more of a mystery than it was a horror. I think it was more a mystery thriller than horror. There are definitely horror elements. Some very grisly graphic images.
A couple of effective jump scares. Only one. Yeah. And I didn't jump, but it made my heart kind of feel something, you know?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean the jump scares aren't effective. I'm just accustomed to them.
Sure. In a genre perspective, horror was second. Mystery/thriller is first, and then horror is second. And then comedy, honestly. Comedy was third. One of the funniest bits of the whole film was Josh Brolin's fuck when he woke up from his dream.
Oh, that was so good.
It was
that was so good.
Perfectly delivered.
And anytime, I really like, what's his name? Austin Abrams. I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's been in stuff. I've seen him for the last couple of years, but every time he's a treat, and he did a really good job, and he was very funny in this.
Amazing. He's going to be the star of the Resident Evil movie.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very stoked for that.
Okay.
The couple of things that I'm not too sure. Well, one thing I'm not too sure about how I don't like it or it doesn't really make sense. And the other thing, I just need an explanation as to why. So let's start with the second one.
Okay.
The eyes bulging from the head. When Marcus becomes possessed, whoops, you see it in the trailer.
You do see
That's
it in the
fine.
trailer.
That's fine. I'm okay. When anybody else becomes controlled and they go into this violent frenzy, their eyes eventually start to bulge out of their head. And at first with Marcus, I thought it was because what happened prior, the injury he sustained prior to that. But it happened with everybody else going forward who was ever being controlled. I just want to know why the eyes bulging from the head. Like, is something trying to get out, or like it was just a weird, scary aesthetic choice without a reasoning behind it.
Well, I know that Zach Cregger said that the running, the T-pose running, for example, wasn't signifying anything. He just wanted it to look uneasy and uncomfortable and like something was obviously wrong. So
Sure.
maybe it's as simple as that for the eyes as well.
Yeah. I just noticed that it was also like a gradual thing that happened. Like, it didn't start off that way.
I think, and they didn't go into this, I think those people are still in there and they're trying to get out. I think they know they're being controlled and they don't like what they're doing. And you could see that the most with certain characters later in the movie.
Okay. The other things that I have problems with, it's really hard to talk about without going into spoiler territory. Just in case this is a spoiler section, why keep Alex? Why make Alex not part of the 17 kids? Because I think by doing that, it led directly to the downfall of our main villain. I think it was a silly choice. If you had captured and sent all the 18 children away, then you would have been fine. For story purposes, we needed his perspective, for sure. I get that. But just as a plot point, it just seemed really, really not a good decision.
Yeah, I'm trying to justify it by like the person's connection to Alex and the fact that they needed him.
Didn't, though.
Not after
a certain point. No, you're right, though. It led to people investigating. It led to, you know, just so many things pointing at Alex that you were literally giving off flares being like, it's me, I'm over here.
But what's crazy is that had nothing to do with how things unfolded. You're right, but the way the mystery was solved was almost a complete fluke.
I suppose that's correct as well. Yeah, it was fluky. The other thing, right off the hop, this is at the beginning of the movie with the little girl. It's even in the trailer. The little girl saying things. And this I can confidently say will probably be a spoiler. The little girl says, the kids ran off into the night and never came back.
Oh, right. Yeah, they did.
I wasn't going to say anything, but by me not saying anything, I guess that's saying something.
I didn't think of that. I would have noticed that on a second watch for sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, for right off the hop, for her to say they never came back, and then to end the way the movie ended, it just completely contradicted itself. There's no going. There's no around
funny.
that. Yeah.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was my review of Weapons. I'll hand it over to you. Honestly, I felt really, really good watching this film. Like, I was having fun. I was just enjoying the horror, the originality of it all. I love original horror stories and mystery thriller stories. It was great. It was a great time. If I were to rate it, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Very
Yep.
nice. Before I get into my review, just a quick intermission. Did you like this or Barbarian more?
I've only watched Barbarian once, and it was when it came out in theaters. Yeah, I don't know.
That's okay. I liked Barbarian more. That being said, I did really enjoy this one as well. Barbarian to me, that's a 9 out of 10, almost perfect for me. This one was probably an 8 out of 10. I think I'm going to agree with you.
Okay.
I might dock it to a 7.5 based on the gripe you just put out there. And they were never seen again. I didn't hear that. That's a big issue. That's a really big, important line to just not have be true.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe I'll give it a 7.5. One thing I want to say, and this isn't a gripe for the movie, because this is at no fault of the movie. It's how the public has absorbed this movie.
Okay.
All I've heard before seeing this is, holy shit, I've never seen anything like that. It's so far out there and blah, 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 and this and that. And it was a pretty gross... I've seen those things before, or at least that caliber of thing before.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I went in with the expectation that I was going to have my life changed by some form of gore or brutality or something. And in reality, they were very gory and very brutal. But other movies have done things like that before. Nothing in this movie was that caliber for me. So that was a little unfortunate. I was a little bit let down in that regard. Not the movie's fault, though.
In a world where Terrifier 1, 2, and 3 exists, I don't believe those reviews anymore where it's like, I threw up, or like people passed out, or that was the gross. I don't believe that anymore at all, because you know those people saying that are the ones who watch Marvel every week.
This one, I would argue, is a gripe. I did feel this movie's length at times.
Ooh.
This one's hard to explain because I really liked the format that you were praising, the POV, and you got like 10, 15 minutes with someone, then it was someone else. But the thing is, every time that happened, it reset the momentum.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because especially the first one, obviously jumping from her story to Archer's story,
yeah,
it just reset the momentum completely. And I was excited because I wanted to know his point of view, and I wanted to know everybody's point of view that it showed. But that's where you're right that this is a mystery thriller first, because you want your horror to be all rise.
Yeah, that's fair.
You don't want the momentum to reset, and I felt it did it a few times. And then, as amazing as Alex's was as the climax, that's where I really felt the length, because it already showcased that each one is about 10-15 minutes long, and then his was what, 40?
Yeah.
Which,
oh no, well,
maybe I'm exaggerating, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it almost lulled you into this pattern and then kind of broke that pattern, and you watched almost like just a short film at the end of the movie.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you just a little bit, because I remember a vivid feeling when Alex's stuff came around that I felt like I wanted to check my phone for the time. But I didn't. I fight that feeling as much as I can when I'm watching a film. But like, yeah, no, I felt that. I agree. And I also want to bring to attention that slowing down or resetting the momentum is a perfect description. Although it didn't bother me, it's definitely true. Because at the end of each segment was the most climactic part of that segment, and then they cut it off.
Yeah. I don't know if bothered me is the right word, but it was something you noticed, and it took you back every time when you were just on the edge of your seat getting excited. You're like, oh, okay, I'll wait to get there again. And then you do. It does a really good job getting you back there each time. And that's not to say I wanted it to do like a Love Actually, where it cycles between all the segments as they're going, because I liked the reveal and the overlap as you got each story. But maybe that would have worked better for what I'm complaining about. I don't know. Maybe someone will do a cut of the movie that way, which would be interesting to see. Those are the bad. Like you said, acting, incredible for a horror movie. I love to see this. I know it's always been the case ever since probably Silence of the Lambs, but I love to see lately, since Hereditary, I feel, the acting in horror movies, they're really giving it their all.
That woman deserves recognition, just like Toni Collette did.
Gladys? Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I wasn't that... like, she was great, don't get me wrong, but she was. I wasn't that impressed with her.
Oh, dude, when she visits Marcus and his husband, like, that was crazy.
In terms of the brutal scenes, that one's the one that keeps coming back to my head because of the emotional trauma behind it. Too.
Yep.
My God. In terms of horror movie, and this is probably recency bias, and probably sit down and do your homework, Brody, but arguably the best cinematography I've ever seen in a horror movie.
A horror movie ever.
Arguably, and again, listen to what I just said. I'm literally probably wrong.
But you were impressed by it.
So impressed by the cinematography. Acting, cinematography, incredible. An original script, albeit maybe some flaws here and there, especially that line that's going to bother me forever now. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed this. Really, really enjoyed this. I can't wait to see what he does next. And only 4 days after this came out, a prequel was announced. So,
yeah.
Have any of you out there who's watching this, have you seen Weapons? What do you think? Tell us everything. I really want to know. And while you're down there, follow us, like, subscribe, share, have a conversation with us. So excited. We love a good horror movie.
Yeah.
All right, let's say potentially we're going to review Naked Gun next week. We're just getting back in the swing of it, so it might not be weekly yet, but we will get back to doing weekly. At least I would really like to. We'll try to get one out next week, but if not, look out for us, and we'll be back in action soon. Looney Tunes.
Yes. I was gonna say it. Love y'all. Keep watching movies.
Love y'all. Keep
I stole
watching movies.
I stole your line. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Bye.